Here's a French sentence. Nous ne comprenons pas ce que tu as dit. Now here is how a French person would actually say it. On comprend pas ce que tu as dit. It's a simple sentence. There is no difficult word. And yet, if you heard that in a real conversation, there is a good chance you wouldn't have caught a single piece of it. That's not because your French is bad. It's because you were taught one language in your textbook and French people speak a different one. Today, we're going to test how much real spoken French you already understand with 15 phrases. And by the end of this video, I think you're going to surprise yourself. Allez, c'est parti. Here's a sentence in textbook French. Je ne sais pas. It means I don't know. You know this one. We're just starting with a warm-up here. How would a French person actually say this in a normal conversation? Would it be ne sais pas, je ne sais, or je sais pas? Pick your answer before I reveal it, okay? Don't worry if you're not sure. Just notice what sounds right to your ear. So take a second. Which one is it? Is it ne sais pas, je ne sais, or je sais pas? Well, the answer is, did you guess? It's si. Je sais pas, je sais pas, je sais pas. That's how we pronounce I don't know in real everyday conversation. You see, in casual conversation, French people speak fast. We drop some sounds and smash other sounds together. For instance, we cut the ne in negations, je sais pas, and we also blend together je and sais, and it becomes je sais pas, je sais pas. You would never write this, especially in a French exam. Don't do that, okay? Your teacher is going to be angry at me. But that is exactly what it sounds like, and you will hear it dozens of times a day in France.
Je sais pas,
Nous allons au restaurant ce soir. We're going to the restaurant tonight. How would a French person say this to a friend? Is it ce soir on va au resto? Ce soir nous allons restaurer? Or nous on va au resto ce soir? Got it? Can you guess? It's answer A. Ce soir, on va au resto. Two things happened here. Nous became on, and this is huge. Nous, with your friends, sounds like you're giving a toast at a wedding. On is what we use in everyday life, always. And restaurant became resto. It's so common, it barely counts as slang anymore. Everybody does that. Answer C was almost correct. Nous, on va au resto ce soir. This would work as a response to something else for contrast. Them, they're staying in. Us, we're going out. In everyday French, we use nous before on like this for emphasis. This is for you if you're very advanced in spoken French. Answer B used nous as a subject, which isn't common in real spoken French. Also here, restaurer means to restore, like a painting or a building. Nothing to do with dinner with friends. Je te rappelle demain matin. How would I say this in everyday spoken French? That's I will call you back tomorrow morning. Is it je te rappelle retour demain matin? Je te rappelle demain matin? Or je rappelle toi demain? Which one is it? Can you guess? It's answer B. Je te rappelle demain matin. Je te rappelle demain matin. The letter E in English, in short one-syllable words like je, te, me, de, le, all those, almost always disappears in fast speech when followed by a consonant. Je te becomes je. Demain loses this de sound. It becomes demain, demain. A and C were deliberately wrong with a sentence construction that doesn't work. Learners sometimes create this kind of sentence by translating from English. This is good. It's incorrect French, but at least you get to say something, and more often than not, they will understand what you mean. But it's still a sign that your brain is translating rather than producing with confidence. And I assure you, you can get to that point. Now, you are at your association, your local hobby club in France. in a very relaxed atmosphere. You're with one friend from the club and you're waiting for everyone else to arrive. You're about to make some coffee. What do you actually say? The formal, polite, textbook-ready sentence would be Voulez-vous du café? But in casual French, you would ask Veux-tu du café? Tu veux un café? Or café veux-tu? Pick your best answer. Can you guess? The answer is B. Tu veux du café? As you well know, we use tu instead of vous when you're talking to one friend, like here. Answer A keeps the inversion of subject and verb, but that's still a bit too formal. It sounds like you are a majordome in a period drama. Answer C is just weird, incorrect grammar. In real life, you simply say the statement and raise your voice at the end. Tu veux du café? Tu veux du café? Tu veux du café? That rising intonation is your question mark. Tu veux du café? As-tu déjà petit déjeuner? Have you already had breakfast? How would you ask that in casual French with a friend you made at a hotel in Normandy, for example? Is it A, t'as déjà pris ton petit-déj? Or B, as-tu pris ton petit-déj? Or C, t'as quoi pour le petit déjeuner? And the answer is A. As we've seen, we can ask a casual question with the subject before the verb. Tu becomes te, and then you have a as a verb. In everyday French, though, we like to drop some sounds. Tu as becomes ta, and petit déjeuner became petit-déj. Some words like this have common contractions, and you often need to know them to understand what people are saying. These first 5 questions covered a good range of the important transformations between the written French that you need for exams or textbooks and the casual spoken French for understanding real everyday life. Those patterns are consistent. Once your ear knows them, you will start catching them everywhere. If you got them all correct, your ear is very well calibrated already. If not, congratulations! You get to learn today. Every pattern you missed is one that you can now listen for. Even if you got them all wrong, the fact that you're here watching this already puts you ahead of most French learners. If you like this type of quiz but want a personalized feedback as well, click the link in the description and it will take you on to an interactive listening quiz. 7 questions, less than 2 minutes, and at the end you get a profile, not just a score. And it's completely free. It will tell you which patterns your ear is catching and which one are still slipping through. You can open it now and come back or finish the video first. Either way, go and do it. It will tell you a lot about your real French level. Okay, now let's move on to our next round. These phrases are still completely everyday French, things that people say constantly. But now 2 or 3 patterns are happening at the same time. This is where it gets interesting. Je ne suis pas sûre de comprendre. I am not sure I understand. You are at your local Musée d'Art Moderne and your new French friend tries to explain an installation. How would you answer with this sentence? Is it je suis pas sûre de comprendre? Je sûr pas de comprendre, or je suis sûr pas compris. Can you guess? The answer is A. Je suis pas sûr de comprendre. 2 things happened at once. The no dropped, je suis pas sûr, and je suis contracted into suis. Exactly like je sais pas in question 1, remember? It's the same mechanism with a different verb. Once you hear it, you will recognize it everywhere. Nous ne savons pas s'il y a encore des places. We don't know if there are still seats available. Your new French friend tells you that when you ask about their upcoming amateur choir concert. Except that they actually say something that sounds like Nous savons pas s'il y a encore des places. On ne sait pas s'il y a encore des places. On ne sait pas s'il y a encore des places. Which one would it be? Well, here technically all 3 could work, but A uses nous and that would be unusual. Answer B still kept the ne, and we almost never keep it in casual French. So the answer is si. On sait pas s'il y a encore des places. On sait pas s'il y a encore des places. Notice that in everyday speech, il y a loses the il and just becomes ya. Il y a encore des places. Il y a encore des places. And you can hear it in my voice. Il y a encore des places is a question. Are there still some seats available? Je ne sais pas, c'est compliqué. I don't know, it's complicated. Your friends asked you what you think of French politics. You have thoughts, but where to even start? Is it donc je ne sais pas, c'est compliqué, tu vois? Ben, je sais pas, c'est compliqué. Or, je sais pas, en fait, c'est coin compliqué. Which one uses real casual French and common filler words? The answer is B. Ben, je sais pas, c'est compliqué. Answer C uses coin, but that's a fake filler word. Answer A uses some correct filler words, but we wouldn't really start with donc, meaning therefore or so. And more importantly, we wouldn't say je ne sais pas. That sounds too formal. We would say je sais pas instead, je sais pas. These little words, ben, donc, tu vois, are a big part of the music of real spoken French. So it doesn't sound like someone reading a book out loud. You've just walked out of a cinema with your French friend for a real film d'auteur about love and loss and growing up in rural France. Your friend turns to you and says, "Ce film n'est pas très bon. This film isn't very good." Except she says it in casual French. Is it "Ce film n'est pas lousy"? C'était vraiment pas très chaud? Or "Mouais, c'était pas terrible"? Which one expresses her opinion? Can you guess? The answer is C. Mouais, c'était pas terrible. It's a classic false friend in French. It's a word of casual French. Terrible in French can mean devastating. Easy. But more often than not, it's used as a slang word for the opposite. Amazing, great. Tricky, huh? On the other hand, pas terrible always means disappointing or not great. And that's the problem with this type of words. Sometimes you can recognize every word in a sentence and still completely misread what someone means. You can't always use logic to understand casual French. There are some expressions that you just have to learn.
C'est que c'est pas terrible ici.
Est-ce que tu penses qu'il a bien compris ce que j'ai dit? Do you think he understood what I said? This is the kind of question that you can ask your trusted French friend when you're sitting at your favorite Parisian cafe and the waiter just left after you ordered your café crème in French. This question is also about twice as long as what anyone would actually say in French. Would it be penses-tu qu'il a bien compris ce que j'ai dit? Tu penses qu'il comprit ce que je lui dis? Or, tu penses qu'il a capté ce que je disais? The answer is C, with several fast changes here. First, est-ce que disappeared. We can use it in everyday speech, but often we just don't bother. It becomes tu penses, with the subject first before the verb. That's easier grammar. We also replace comprendre, to understand, with its slang synonym, capter. The grammar of tenses is a bit iffy, which happens sometimes in everyday spoken French. In any case, we never use the passé simple, like il compris that you saw in answer B. All in all, it's a bit of a complex question. Est-ce que tu penses qu'il a bien compris ce que j'ai dit? But with a dash of casual speech and the relaxed standards of real spoken French, you can find the confidence to ask things like this and more. Okay, how are you doing for now? Is everything clicking in your brain? These combinations are a big part of why spoken French can be hard to understand. Now that you've seen these patterns, it might unlock some things for you. Oh, and I really want to add something here, and I mean this. If you're getting this wrong, it is not because your French is bad. It's because nobody taught you this. Your classes were teaching you to read French, to write French, to pass tests in French. The French that people actually speak, with the shortcuts, the contractions, the expressions, well, that was not always on the curriculum. And that's not your fault. It's just a gap in how the language is taught at school. And we are exactly here to help you close that gap. Now, round 3. But before moving on, YouTube has a new feature called Hype. Pressing it right now is the most direct way to show your appreciation for this channel. And I thank you for it from the bottom of my heart. Merci beaucoup. Il faut que j'aille faire les courses, nous n'avons plus d'œufs. I need to go grocery shopping, we ran out of eggs. How would this actually sound in everyday life? Il faut que faire les courses, nous n'avons d'œufs. Faut que j'aille faire les courses, nous n'avons d'œufs. Or, faut que j'aille faire les courses, on n'a plus d'œufs. Of course, you answered correctly with answer C. Faut que j'aille faire les courses, on n'a plus d'œufs. Here, il faut becomes faut. The il in impersonal expressions almost almost always disappears in spoken French. Then, que j'aille contracted to j'aille, j'aille. We cut the small so we can speak faster. And nous became on while we cut the ne as well. Faut que j'aille faire les courses, on n'a plus d'œufs. Faut que j'aille faire les courses, on n'a plus d'œufs. You just decoded a sentence someone might say while you prepare the apéro together. Real French at real speed. You got that. Je suis très fatiguée, je vais rentrer à la maison. I'm really tired, I'm going home. How would a real person say that after a long evening? Je suis très fatiguée, je rentre maison. Je suis crevée, je vais rentrer. Je suis vachement fatiguée, je rentrerai à la maison. The answer here is B. Je suis often becomes suis. And here we use the slang term crevé for dead tired or exhausted. Crevé. Answer C uses informal adverb vachement to say très or very. It's not very elegant, but it's very common. However, it also uses the future tense je rentrerai. And that tense is mostly too formal for everyday French, especially when you're tired.
Je suis crevée, c'est tout.
French people love disagreeing with each other. I'm not sure if it's true, but at least it's really a part of how we see ourselves as a culture and as a people. So how would you disagree in everyday French? Like saying, je ne suis pas sûre que tu aies raison. Tu as même complètement tort. I'm not sure you're right. And actually, you're completely wrong. Would it be, je suis pas sûre que t'aies raison. T'es même complètement à côté de la plaque. Je ne suis pas sûre que tu as raison. T'as même complètement tort. Or, je suis pas sûre, t'as raison. Tu es terrible. Got it? This one is a bit tricky because the answer is A. Je ne suis pas sûre becomes je suis pas sûre, as we've seen before. Je ne suis pas sûre, je suis pas sûre. Tu loses the U sound before a vowel. And yes, we say t'as complètement tort for you're completely wrong. But here I used a colloquial expression instead. Tu es à côté de la plaque. Literally, you're next to the plate, meaning you're completely wrong. If you ever heard someone say this, you can now realize they were not talking about your physical location.
T'es complètement à côté de la plaque?
All right. For our next question, let's mix it up a bit. I'm going to say a line in everyday French. Can you understand? Coucou, ça roule. T'es dispo demain? On fait un apéro chez moi pour la nif de Mathieu. Tu veux venir? Ça serait chouette. What did I mean? Is it A, I'm asking you for a lift to the train station since my car doesn't work and it's quite urgent? Is it B, I'm giving everyday news about my life, everything going fine? Or is it 3, I am inviting you for a small gathering for a friend's birthday tomorrow evening at my house? Again. Coucou, ça roule? T'es dispo demain? On fait un apéro chez moi pour la nif de Mathieu, tu veux venir? Ça serait chouette. Which one is it? Can you guess? It's answer C. The message was, coucou, ça roule? T'es dispo demain? On fait un apéro chez moi pour la nif de Mathieu. Tu veux venir? Ça serait chouette. These are basically all expressions and shortcuts from everyday French. You can hear coucou for bonjour or hello in English. Ça roule for ça va, how are you? Chouette for bien, it means great in English. Dispo for disponible, that's available. Anniv, that where we cut anniversaire for birthday. And un apéro for an apéritif. It's a relaxed party with some snacks and alcohol and friends before dinner usually. These are not really slang words, they're simply informal vocabulary, the type that will help you understand all those French movies, friendly conversations, and even vocal messages from your real-life French adventures. For this final question, you're in a sunny market in Provence. You ask your local friend, avez-vous goûté les tomates? Elles sont très bonnes. Did you taste the tomatoes? They taste amazing. Except you're confident in your casual everyday French, so instead you say A. Est-ce que vous avez goûté les tomates? Elles sont délicieuses. B. T'as goûté les tomates toi? Elles sont vachement bonnes. Or C. As-tu goûté les tomates? Elles sont incroyables. Did you get the answer for this final question? I'm sure you do. It's answer B. We use tu instead of vous for a friend. We cut the u before a vowel. We keep the subject before the verb in a casual question. And this answer even uses the informal vachement that we saw before. Answer A and C are both technically correct, but they each sound a bit too formal in a way for this precise situation. And now you understood all of that. So, how did you do overall today? If you had between 12 and 15 right answers, congratulations, félicitations. You understand spoken French better than you even thought. 8 to 11, you're right at the tipping point. The patterns are clicking in your head. A little more exposure and everything opens up. 4 to 7, you just learn more about real French in 15 minutes than most people learn in months of textbook study. Every pattern in this video is something that your ear can now track. That's great news. Moins de 4, less than 4, the fact that you're here, watching this, taking it seriously, that matters more than any score. You now know exactly what to listen for. That's the hardest part, and you have it. Here's what I want you to take away from everything we just did. French people are not just speaking fast, they're using shortcuts. And those shortcuts are not random. They follow consistent patterns, sounds that disappear, words that contract, grammar that simplifies, vocabulary that shifts. Once you know the patterns, you don't just understand one sentence better, you understand all of them differently. The ne almost always vanishes. The on replaces the nous. Questions don't invert. Short e sounds drop. Words get shortened. Filler words feel the rhythm. That's the system. It's learnable. And you just spent 15 questions learning it. If you've been studying French for years and you still feel frustrated that real conversations slipped past you, I want to say something clearly. This is not your fault. You were taught a version of French that exists mostly on paper. The version that French people actually speak was never on the syllabus at school. That's a gap in how the language is taught, not a gap in your ability. You know more French than you think. You just need to hear it differently. My interactive quiz link is in the description below. So if you want to know exactly which of these patterns your ear is catching and which ones are still slipping through, that's what it measures. 7 audio questions, 2 minutes, a real answer. If this video was too much for you, don't worry. And let's do some listen and repeat exercises. But if you want another challenge like this one, go and take this quiz as well. À très vite.